Listen up, ballerina cappuccina. You are too online, but you know this. That's why you clicked on this video. You wake up, screen. You go to work, screen. You unwind after work by watching a giant screen and scrolling on a tiny screen. You know this is a problem. You know it's making you feel like a little rat, but you can't figure out what to do about it. I first noticed the problem with my phone back in 2018. Instagram stories had just come out, and I noticed that picking up my phone to watch stories was way more interesting than my boring desk job. I mean, of course it was, but it was all starting to feel compulsive. I actually came across an Instagram story from 2018 of little old me talking about how much it sucks to feel like you're addicted to your phone. So I have been on top of brain rot since before we had a name for it, long before we could see any of the decay. I see a lot of gorgeous little creative souls who are rotting away in front of their phones. And I want you to want better for yourself. So today I'm going to share 7 practices that have helped me unrot my brain, restore my creativity, my motivation, my focus, and reconnect with my intuition, because that's really what's at stake when you are rotting away in front of your phone. I think it's helpful to acknowledge what all of the doom scrolling and brain rotting is taking away from us. First of all, it's putting you in a dissociative state, it's putting you in freeze mode, and it's making you feel apathetic about the world and your life. Number 2, it is destroying your intrinsic motivation. It is robbing you of your creativity, and it's severing your connection with your intuition. Number 3, it's spiking your cortisol levels. It's making you feel stressed and anxious and disconnected. And number 4, it's giving you this counterfeit sense of connection with the people on the other side of the screen. And those relationships will never quite replace the power of the face-to-face interactions and relationships. There's a lot we lose when we resign ourselves to the doom scrolling and the brain rot. But if all of this is true, then why do we keep doing it? Can't we just stop? Unfortunately, it is not that simple. We're addicted. And as the saying goes, the system is doing exactly what the system was designed to do. And not to go all tinfoil hat on you, but that's how they want it. The billionaires are making more money the more hooked and apathetic you are about the fact that your screen time keeps climbing higher and higher. And your brain rot isn't just this silly little thing, it's actually impacting the rest of your life. But rather than go down that esoteric rabbit hole, I think it's more important to bring it a little bit closer to home. Do you remember what it felt like to feel alive, excited, motivated? When we're talking about the brain rot and the doom scrolling and the problem with our phones, I think it's far more effective to focus on the things that you can control. Most notably, how do you want to feel about your life? That was the big turning point for me. Nobody is coming to save me from that hollow, nauseous feeling of spending too much time on my phone. All of that screen time was an attempt to meet a need, connection, meaning, a sense of purpose or contribution in life, but that hit never lands. You're just constantly edging. You're almost there, but you're never gonna quite get to that feeling you're after. That's the real cost. It's not just the time. It's not just the fracturing of your attention. It's your life on the line. Imagine spending your one wild and precious life scrolling on your phone. We are missing out on the real sensory experience of life because we're overstimulated and addicted to our screens. As far as I know, we have one chance to drink up all that this world has to offer, and I am not about to lose mine to a glowing box in my hand. You deserve a big, sexy life, and doom scrolling is not how you're gonna get it. So here are 7 ways to unrot your brain. Number 1, put a screen time widget on the home screen of your phone. I did this a few years ago, and it made me really uncomfortable to look at that number because my screen time was like 9 or 10 hours a day. And that made me feel really ick about myself, but you can't change something that you're unwilling to look at. This was actually really powerful for me when I did this because it gave me a chance to check myself before I wrecked myself. I now know that if my screen time goes over 5 or 6 hours a day, I'm going to be overstimulated. I'm going to need time to recover simply because I've spent too much time on my phone. This is going to be different for everybody depending on how much time you spend on your phone for work. As a content creator, I have to be on my phone for work. And so 4 to 5 hours a day on my phone is a pretty normal thing. But if it starts going over that, I've reached the point of diminishing returns, and I know it's time to create some distance between me and my phone. Number 2, sit and stare time in the morning has revolutionized my relationship with my motivation, my intuition, and the way that I spend my time in the morning. So don't make it more complex than it needs to be. When I wake up, rather than opening my phone and scrolling on Instagram, I get up, I make my coffee, and then I come sit right here and I just hang out and I sit and I stare at the wall. I stare into the distance. I leave my phone in the kitchen so that I'm not picking it up and scrolling. I'm thinking about my day. I'm letting my brain make the connections that it can't make when I'm distracting myself and scrolling on my phone. Sometimes I pick up my journal, pick up a book. Anything but my phone lets me wake up slowly rather than injecting myself with cortisol first thing in the morning. And it feels so much better to start your day this way than scrolling on your phone. Number 3, take headphone-free walks. If you are already in the habit of taking walks, good for you. Honestly, good for you. Taking walks and getting outside of the house and not looking at a screen is one of the best tips I can give you. If you are not in the habit of doing it, you might need some music or some podcasts to just get you out of the house. But at some point, I think you should try just raw dogging a walk. I take these walks every single day without my headphones. And they are where I get my best ideas. I am solving problems that I can't seem to figure out while I'm sitting at my desk. I'm getting a chance to interact casually with the people in my neighborhood. I actually notice the flowers that are blooming, the dogs that I'm walking past. It's like refilling the sensory tank of your life. I think that headphone-free walks are one of the easiest and most underrated ways to start restoring your motivation and your sense of connection to yourself. Number 4, take showers in silence. If you can't take a shower without something playing in the background, there's nothing wrong with you, but I think you should look at that. Everybody knows that you get your best ideas when you're in the shower, and that is because that's one of the few places that you actively don't have much stimulation. Or in the past anyway, that's how it was. Now you can take your Bluetooth speaker into the shower with you. I get it. It's fun to listen to something in the shower, but taking a shower in silence is a really easy way, again, to reconnect with the sensory pleasure of feeling the warm water on your skin, actually feeling yourself lathering the shampoo in your hair. If you start doing this with your showers, I promise you, you will get your next great idea. If you don't already get it on the headphone-free walk, you will get it in the shower, and you will also be able to start solving that problem that you can't figure out. Number 5, get some screen-free hobbies. This one seems so obvious, and yet when it comes to identifying a screen-free hobby, a lot of our minds will go blank because it's been so long that screens have been involved in our unwinding time. But you need hobbies that don't have screens attached to them. Reading, studying French in a workbook, playing Scrabble, doing a cross stitch, doing a puzzle. Start knitting or crocheting. Go for a hike. Join a community kickball team. Think about what would be really fun for you, and don't just think about it. Get off your butt and go do it. Number 6 is to prioritize downtime. Find a place where you can leave your phone in another room and go do something else. Out of sight, out of mind works really well for your phone. So if you're trying to read more, you are making it infinitely harder for yourself by keeping your phone out next to your book because you're just going to be scrolling on your phone. So instead, try leaving it in another room. Leave it somewhere where there's a physical distance between you and the thing. When I'm actually trying to get deep work done at my desk, I slide my phone behind my laptop where I can't even see it, and suddenly it's much easier to slip into focus. So create a designated space to hide or store your phone when you actually want to be more present or more connected with the thing that you're trying to do. And then number 7 is to start taking tech rest every week. A few years ago, I started deleting social media off my phone every single weekend. So Friday night, I would take it off my phone, and then I would download it again on Monday or Tuesday whenever I needed to be back on it for work. Now, there's a lot of social media that you can do directly from your laptop, and I find this to be a significant improvement than just having it available on my phone all the time. And this is undoubtedly one of the most important things that I've done to start unrotting my brain. When I'm not distracted by Instagram or TikTok on the weekend, I can actually get a lot done. I clean my apartment, I work out, I take walks, I spend time with friends, I go out into the world and actually enjoy myself. I read books. Even if you only do this one day a week, this will totally flip your perception of time and your motivation upside down, and you will feel like a completely different person. When it comes to all of this stuff, though, I want to remind you that you cannot have self-control without self-compassion. This is a whole lifestyle change that you're doing. This is a whole rewiring of your consciousness. Give yourself an enormous amount of grace when it comes to making changes with your relationship with your phone. I think finding neutrality around your screen time is really, really important. Your screen time just is what it is right now. And in order to make any improvements, like I said earlier, you can't change something that you're unwilling to look at. Too many of us are anxious and disconnected and unfulfilled and wondering how on earth to solve that problem. And a big part of this boils down to building a better relationship with your technology. As much as I would love to throw my phone in the river and go be a fairy in the forest, it's not going to happen. I love the internet. I want to be on the internet. I want to continue creating content, but I'm the one who needs to have a more responsible relationship with my technology. And this is so much bigger than the screen time. This is an issue of your life and your vitality coming back online. And unfortunately, I think you're going to need to go offline a little bit more in order to access that. You deserve a big, sexy life, and doom scrolling is not how you're going to get it. If there are any of these practices that you want to try, let me know down in the comments. And if there are any that you've tried that have really helped you, let everybody else know in the comments too. Thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next one.